And that is why I am calling this thing the Scream Machine. Hello everyone, this is Impulse, and today I got something pretty cool to show you guys. This is a Ghast farm for Minecraft 1.8 Plus, and basically it's kind of a 3-in-1 Nether farm, if you will. It's a Ghast farm, it's a zombie pigmen farm, as you can see, and also magma cubes will also spawn in there. And basically the premise of this thing is that we have a shifting floor design, and you can see as soon as the pigmen spawn it will shift and let them fall to their death, and we'll go ahead and collect their drops. The same thing is going to happen for the magma cubes that spawn in here. It'll shift and they'll fall as well. Of course, they're a lot rarer actually of a spawn than the pigmen are, so you're going to get mostly pigmen spawning, but this thing is fully automatic, fully AFK-able, so you can spend as much time just AFKing here to collect those more rare drops like the magma creams and the gas tiers and the gunpowder if you like. But you are going to get a lot of gold and a lot of zombie flesh, which are both very useful in Minecraft for, you know, trading, powered rails, golden apples, you know, a lot of different things. And then the gas tiers and the magma cream is also good for potions and some other things. So basically the way it works is they fall to their death. We have hopper mine carts running along the track collecting their drops. You can see magma cube down here. He's going to hop around until he hits the cactus, and then he's going to drop his magma cream, and that'll get picked up as well, and it all gets kind of funneled into the chest down here. You can see you've been AFKing. This is about an hour's worth, so collected about, let me show you that. Collected about 4,000 drops in an hour. You're going to range anywhere from 2 to 5 of the more rarer drops, the magma creams, gas tiers, and gunpowder. But like I said, you're going to get a lot of gold, a lot of rotten zombie flesh there. Also has an on-off switch. So, you know, you can, when you leave the farm, you can stop the carts from running. Oh, and then we got another one. He's way back there somewhere. You can't see him. He was at the very end there. So you can see it's actually working fairly decent. The reason for the on-off switch is just because sometimes when you leave the area and the chunks unload, it can, if the carts are running, they can stop on the track. It's pretty rare that that happens, but it could happen. So I got an on-off switch. And the reason for doing this for 1.8 Plus is because we had to find a new way to kill the Ghast. Because they actually moved the hitbox of the Ghast in Minecraft 1.8 Plus. I'm assuming they won't change it back. And it's down 1 block lower than before. So the old design that I used in the gold pan wouldn't work anymore. And I had to move the whole thing down, and then I couldn't fit another tripwire in just for the Ghast. So you can see all we did here is basically take a redstone line from the tripwire hooks that will get activated when both the pigmen spawn and anything really spawns in here. It's going to extend these pistons so that if it is a Ghast, it will still crush them. And you can see it's actually 1, 2, 3 blocks up from where they spawn, and it used to be 4. So that was moved. Some people thought that maybe you couldn't even kill Ghast anymore by using a crushing system. You can. It just all got moved a block lower. So pretty simple design. Shifting floor design got upgraded for this one compared to the one I used in my gold farm, my gold pan design that I released about a year ago. So using a little more efficient model of a shifting floor now, even have more blocks of spawning space. You can see magma cube there. He'll run into a cactus. And yeah, and then added the on-off switch. So it's got some new features, and like I said, I call this thing the Scream Machine. And the nice thing about it is you can actually build this as big or as small as you want. So if you wanted, you could just put like 5 of these shifting floors in. I did 64 tiles, or slices I like to call them, in this design. And I will give you a tutorial for each slice, you know, basically on one slice, and then you can build it as far as you want. And the same thing goes with the floor down here, the collecting floor. You can build it as big as you want, just extend it. I just put powered rails every 16 blocks or so. So I'll do a block by block build tutorial on this. If you don't want to follow that tutorial, I also have a world download in the description that you can just download this and kind of see all the internal mechanics for yourself up close and personal, however you like to do it. But let's go ahead and jump right into the tutorial now. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to note is that we are on top of the Nether. That means above the bedrock ceiling. And yes, this can be done in survival, no problem. I actually have a tutorial on how to get above the bedrock of the Nether that I will put a link in the description for you, so just click that if you don't know how to do it. And then once you're above the Nether, you can actually poke holes back through the bedrock, so I'll put another link in the description on how to do that if you want to just open the bedrock up so you can get up and down. As you can see, I am standing up at Y250, and the reason for that, I get a lot of questions on this. The reason for that is because the way this works is your character has a bubble around him, if you will, and that bubble goes out 128 blocks in all directions. It's a sphere. And that's the area that mobs will spawn. So we want all the mobs to spawn in our trap and nowhere else to get highest efficiency. And by standing up at 250, that means that our bubble just barely goes under the bedrock of the ceiling of the nether there. And there's really nothing that can spawn there because it's usually filled with netherrack. So we get max efficiency by coming up here and AFKing here. Now, also mobs won't spawn within 24 blocks of the character. As you can see, I'm standing about 24 blocks away from this platform. So that's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to create an AFK point up here at 250, and then you're going to actually build the farm 24 blocks away from whatever spot you plan on standing on. You can see I put the switch right behind me. And we're also going to want to put up some sort of barrier here so that the ghast don't try to shoot you when they do spawn. So usually iron bars works just fine for that. Just build it up about 3 blocks so they can't see and you'll be fine. So that's that. The first thing you're going to want to do is stack jump your way up till you get to Y coordinate 222. And then I really recommend that you build this thing so that it goes off in the east or west directions. And that's just going to help with laying the track down. Otherwise, they connect all weird and it does become quite a hassle. So once you're looking either east or west, you'd come off to the side of the block and basically just face a hopper into that. And then we're going to want to put 13 hoppers into each other. So there you can see that they're pointing all into that block there. And we'll end up putting our chest there in the end. So 13 hoppers. Once we have our 13 hoppers down, we're going to put chests on top, and we need to alternate between a regular chest and a trap chest. So make sure you have enough of those. So we'll just do that right here. You can see I'm just alternating back and forth, and then we're going to go all the way across, all 13. Now on the side that is closer to your AFK spot, you're going to want to put a solid block next to all the chests, just like this. And then on top of that, you're going to want to put comparators. Face them into a solid block. On the back side of that solid block, you're going to have torches. And then on top of that block, we're going to have repeaters. Leave them on the default tick there. And then in front of those repeaters, another solid block just like that. Okay, and then we're going to put down some hoppers facing into these chests, so one facing into each chest there. And then we're going to start building our floor here, and this will depend, the size of this will depend on how many slices you want to do. So for the sake of the video, we're just going to do a couple slices here. I'm going to make this thing really small, and we'll just take some blocks across here, and I think I'll just do, we'll say 4 slices here. So we'll just build this floor out, just 4 wide here, 13 long. On the last row, you're going to want to put powered blocks in because we're going to want powered rail to kick the carts back. So you could do redstone blocks, or if that's too expensive for you, put in regular blocks and just put levers underneath and activate them that way. And that way the powered rail will actually be powered. So I'm just going to do powered blocks here for the sake of the tutorial. All the way across, and then behind those, just go ahead and put a stopper here so that it kicks the cart back. Okay, so now we're going to put down the rails, and the key to putting down these rails is to finish one line at a time, because if you try to do, a little bit of each, you're going to get this going on. You don't want that. So go ahead and just finish your rails out all the way down, and if you're going to build this thing more than 16 long, I recommend you put redstone blocks or powered rails every 16 blocks or so, just to keep the momentum of the carts up the entire time. So we'll go ahead and just put rails down just like this all the way across. Okay, so once you are done, it should look something like this, and you'll notice the powered rails are off. The reason for that is because we have yet to install the on-off switch, so we'll do that later. But before we put down a floor over top of this, we need to put our carts in. So you should be able to put them in just fine like that, and they won't go anywhere. And then what we're going to want to do is cover the floor up so that all the mobs actually land on the floor and die. And I like using glass simply because I like to be able to see what's going on, see through here, see that the carts are moving just fine. You could also use half slabs. Just make sure you keep them on the bottom side of the block so nothing can spawn on top. But if you can afford the glass, I really do think that's the better way to go, just so you can keep an eye on things. So just cover up all the tracks and the carts with this glass, just like this. Okay, so next what we're going to want to do is put in the cactus so that we can kill the magma cubes that start dancing around inside this floor. And to do that, it's fairly simple. You just need some sand, you can put a cactus there, and you don't need to put a cactus every block. In fact, if you try to, the cactus will break because you can't put cactus right next to each other. So you can just leave a gap, and it's up to you how you do this, but if you want to put one, here in this corner, obviously these won't interfere with each other, and then just basically skip every other block, put sand, cactus, and then you don't even have to build the cactus up, 3 high, because it will grow on its own over time, so you can save some cactus that way. But basically just do this kind of pattern all the way around every other block and surrounding this entire floor. Okay, once you get the cactus in and you've let them all grow, it should look something like this. Before we go on any further, I do want to mention one thing, and that is if you really want to make sure that you save as many drops as possible, it would be a good idea to actually extend the floor out a couple blocks. So take this slice and do a couple more on this side and do a couple more on that side, and then the same thing with these, kind of bring them one or two blocks out in each direction. Because what will happen is the pigmen will drop and their loot will go flying, and sometimes it flies into the cactus. So the further away you can get the cactus, the better. But we're just trying to kind of conserve on resources here. And, plus the fact that we're AFK and it's not really a huge deal if we lose some. Chances are the ghast tiers are going to land in the middle and be just okay, because they will typically spawn in the middle of the floor there. So just a point to note there. But the next step we're going to want to do is ensure that we have no other spawnable space. So you can see these blocks in between the cactus. We'll just kind of go around. You see I didn't actually put any there. We got these ones as well, so we'll just go ahead and cover those up. And then now there's no spawnable space down here for pigmen, and that should feel much better for you. So let's go ahead and build the on-off switch. And basically what you're going to do is, you can see if I put a block right here, that is now going to power the track, and now I have my minecart going back and forth. And we're going to basically control whether or not that happens, and that's what our on-off switch does to make sure that the carts will come to a standstill when we're not using the farm. So you just come back a couple blocks here. I'm going to place that block there just so we can get a sticky piston in. And when you put the block down, you should see it's not extended, it's not over that torch. And that's how you know you did it right there. So we're going to do that same thing all the way down. And now we're going to run a line of blocks across the top, just like this. And then do some redstone there, and we can put in a temporary switch here just to see that things are working. So just put a lever in there. You can see the pistons all extend, repeaters get powered, and the minecarts are going. Obviously you're probably going to want to build a farm a lot bigger than this, so they'll go way down and then come back, but you can see all the minecarts are moving just fine. And if we shut off the lever, they all come to a stop, so that's perfect. Alright, now it's time to build the shifting floor. The easiest way to do it, I found, is if you put the cactus on the corner here, just like I did, you can basically just stack jump above it as long as it's 3 high, and just go 20 blocks up from that. And when you're standing on top of that block, you should be at Y249. Next step is going to be to put down your comparators, so it's going to be right there. And on this side, we're going to just do the one comparator, and then behind that do a couple of hoppers. So you put down your comparator just like that. Behind that you have your 2 hoppers that face into each other, and then on top of that you're going to have a sticky piston facing out from it with a redstone block, and then you want to put 1 item in it. So I'll just put a tripwire hook for now, and it should just stay right there in that hopper. Now in front of this hopper, you're going to want to put a regular piston, and that's going to be pushing a shifting floor. I'm going to use half slabs here. They seem to work a lot better. And you just want to go 12 out from that piston, because that's the block limit that pistons can push. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the way this works now is basically when this piston gets powered, you can see it goes out, and you're going to get this shifting effect. Alright, so if you want to just power that one time just so that you can move the floor over and you'll know exactly where your piston goes on this side, that sometimes will help. So basically go to the other side, put a regular piston on that side as well, and then that will be responsible for shifting the floor back. You need to come under that piston, and this time we're going to go with 3 comparators behind it. So 1, 2, 3, and then the same kind of idea there, hoppers facing into each other with sticky piston and a redstone block. Do not forget to put your 1 item in there, and there we go. We can test it, see if it shifts back. Okay, perfect. All right, and then so now we need to be able to activate this thing with a tripwire hook. So just put a block on top of your piston there with a tripwire hook on it, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side here. Tripwire hook on that. Now we can grab some string here. I think I'm done with those for now. So we'll put some string on all the way across. So just connect those tripwire hooks up. And then you can test your floor. Just be careful here that you don't actually fall through yourself. So you can see it's shifting back and forth. That is perfect. So the next step is to add the gas crusher. Okay, so we'll start on the side that has the 3 comparators, just because we're already over here. And what you want to do is put a block on top of that lever, so right above that lever there. And then you're going to do 5 more, so you have a total of 6 solid blocks there that we're going to put redstone on. That's going to light up when we activate that tripwire. And in front of that, we're going to do a sticky piston with a solid block in front of that. It has to be solid so that it can actually kill the gas. And you should see it extend if you trip the tripwire. So you know that's working. Then we go to the other side and we do 4 blocks coming on top of that and out. And we'll put, again, redstone dust on top of that. And sticky piston in front with a solid block in front of that. And just to check things, you should have a 5 block gap in between these pistons. And so there you go. And that will actually be it for being able to crush the ghast. Now all you want to do is, depending on how long you built your floor, so you can see we have 5 slices as I mentioned before, we're going to just do the same exact design one after another 5 more times. Okay, I meant 4 more of course, as for a total of 5 slices. Now you should have something that looks just like this, and the final step is to make sure that we spawn proof everything other than this shifting floor. So you can see these blocks here are going to be able to spawn. Obviously the pistons aren't, but we'll go ahead and cover those anyway and just kind of do that on both sides. And we're going to be covering these redstone dust just the same there. You can see it's going to be floating above, and make sure you check guys that that's on the bottom half of a block. If you lay it just on top of the dust there, it should be. So just lay that all the way across all the redstone dust there. Now you will have the chance that when this extends here, that you get mobs spawning on top of these blocks. That's no big deal, because when they retract, they're going to fall on the floor and you'll be able to collect them too. So up to you if you want to cover that up, but it's really not a big deal. Same thing with these ones. When they extend, yeah, you could get a mob spawning on the block, but then they're just going to fall down to their death anyway. So again, if you want to bring that out another one, up to you. Go for it. Alright, so let's go ahead and set up our AFK platform here. And what I want to do is basically just make sure that I'm creating half slabs here, again, because I don't want there to be any spawning. But you want to come 24 blocks away from the shifting floor there, so just come out 24. Alright, so I went 25 blocks out just to make sure I have enough space in there. And you can see I didn't exactly line it up with the other one, but that's okay. We can still manage. But if you did want to do, multiple wings, you could do that, one off in each direction if you like. And you just need to make sure that you're lining up your center points a little better than I did here. So now that we know where we're AFKing, the next step would be to actually create our on-off switch. And that's pretty simple to do. And we'll just put it a couple blocks behind where I was AFKing. And I'm going to grab this real quick. I like doing this just because it's so much easier to see if it's on or off. So basically, if the lever's down, if the light's on, the farm's on, that kind of thing. And so go ahead and do that. Make sure you put a block on top to spawn proof it. And then we're basically going to need to meet up with down below. So I'm going to cross wires here with this other farm, but that's okay. Come down here, find the center of this guy here, which is about right there. Or basically it's directly under where you're creating the switch, so it looks like I'm there. And then just bring all these blocks straight out until, again, you're going to be 24 blocks away. And I actually could link these two up the way I have it designed here, which would be pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and come out all the way till we're underneath. I'm just going to break this for now so it doesn't interfere. And you can see I'm directly underneath that redstone block. So we'll go up to that, and we're going to create a downward sticky piston with a redstone block under that. And then you go 1, 2, 3 solid blocks, bust those 2 out, redstone dust on that. And basically when that extends, it's going to power that redstone dust. And then you do that same pattern over and over again until you reach the bottom. So sticky piston, redstone block, 1, 2, 3, bust those 2 out, and dust on top. Okay, once you have that all the way down, you should see the redstone block is above the line there. And then you just take your line out, 15 pieces of dust, put a repeater in, and then dust again, and it'll meet up with these. And we'll go turn it on just to make sure the signal reaches all the way. If not, you may have to put in one more repeater, depending on how far away from the platform you decided to go. But you can see here the dust actually does barely make it all the way. And check on the carts, they're all moving. And so that's perfect just like that. Alright, so we'll go ahead and turn that off. Now we can remove the unnecessary things here. This path out there you're not going to need, so you can get rid of that. You can get rid of this deal where you stacked yourself up. Just kind of doing some cleanup now at this point. And then finally we're going to need to put in our storage system. So this is up to you, but basically if you look at this block right here, this is where all the items are going to flow into. So you can basically just take a chest, or put in a sorting system would probably be a good idea. I have a good tutorial for a nice easy sorting system you could put in right here. I'm just going to put a chest in for now. Again, make sure that you don't leave any spawnable area any spawnable spaces for pigmen. So if you did leave a tower, make sure you half slab it so nothing can spawn there. We're good there. And then again, you can see it looks like we're going to need to cover these up because things can spawn on those. So just cleanup job at this point, making sure nothing is spawnable. Stuck on something there. Go across here, go across our wire here because that's also going to be spawnable. So cover all that up, and then once you're done, we'll go back up to the spawn platform and try this thing out. Alright, there you go. Saw some pigmen spawn. Obviously this one's not going to be as efficient as this one since there's way more spawning spaces over here. But that was just to show you that it does in fact work. So that's going to do it for the tutorial, guys. Again, if you have any issues or some of the parts of the tutorial weren't easy to follow, there's a world download in the description. Go ahead and download that. You can check things out for yourself and see if you got everything the exact same way I did. And that's going to do it, guys. So if you did enjoy the video, please leave me a like. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I'm going to have many more things to come. All right, guys. Thank you very much. We will see you again next time. Have a good one, everyone. Way it works is behind here you can see we have a comparator coming out of this hopper here, and this is where your filter is going to be. Automatic sugarcane farm that is 100% lossless, really simple to build, totally